Guys, welcome and welcome back. Thank you for showing up today. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jane. Today I'll be talking about the relationship and sex education in the United Kingdom. This is an important topic, or an ongoing important topic for parents raising kids in the UK, as many parents are against the fact that this should be taught in primary and secondary schools. There's been protests around this, but the regulation, which is the Relationship, Sex Education and Health Education 2019, stated that all schools in the United Kingdom are supposed to teach relationship and sex education. Now, for the primary schools, the sex education part is not compulsory. However, for secondary schools, this is compulsory. We've had a discussion giving summary about the main points for the primary school. So in this video, we'll talk about the main points for the secondary school. So this is just basically going to be a summary of what the guidance says, what the government explains should be taught to these children, and why they think this is important to be taught in schools. I will not be giving you guys my view on this in this video, because I just want to keep this as a summary so that people who don't have an idea of what this is all about, some people have not been able to see the guidance, some people don't even know there is a guidance. This video is just to give you a brief summary of what you need to know, why the government implemented this, and what they said the schools should be teaching the children in these schools. The guidance states that the aim of the RSC, which is a relationship sex education, is to provide information that is required and necessary to develop nurturing relationships of all kinds, and not just intimate relationships. The RSC would cover from contraception to developing intimate relationships, and it will also cover what is acceptable and what is not in relationships. It should cover how they should not apply pressure to have sex, and how they can resist pressure to have sex. The guidance states that effective RSC does not encourage early sexual experimentation. The children or the pupils should be taught about the human sexuality, how to respect themselves and how to respect others, and it believes that this will enable them build self-confidence and self-esteem when they need it. It mentions that knowledge of safer sex and sexual health will equip the pupil on how to make informed decisions as they grow in life. This should be taught in a non-judgmental, factual way that will allow the students to ask questions in a safe environment. The guidance states that there should be a clear progression from what is being taught in primary school. So teachers should know in an age-appropriate manner when to introduce intimate relationships to the kids in secondary. They will be taught intimate relationships as well as other kinds of relationships that are also important to their well-being, such as friendships and family relationships, as well as online relationships. It also states that the children should be taught about what an unhealthy relationship looks like, so equipped with this information, they can know when to report an unhealthy relationship or when they can get out of an unhealthy relationship. They will also be taught personal attributes like honesty, courage, humility, and all that, which is also taught in primary schools. But like I said, there will be progression. They will keep introducing these things and reiterating the important facts that they think are necessary for children to develop healthy relationships. The guidance states that pupils should be taught about the facts and law around sex, sexual health, and gender identity in an age-appropriate and inclusive manner. It also mentions that this should be done, teaching them about the sexual orientation and gender identity should be done in a timely manner and done in a sensitive and respectful manner. The guidance also states that there should be equal opportunity to explore the features of a stable same-sex relationship, and that this should be incorporated into the RSC program instead of being taught as one lesson. So they want this to be incorporated into the RSE program. The guidance states that schools may choose to explore faith and other perspectives on some of these issues in other topics, such as the religious education. The guidance also states that they will be taught positive aspects of one-to-one intimate relationships, which will include mutual respect, consent, and loyalty. They will be taught things about pregnancy, what to do with the baby, adoption, abortion, or where to get further help. They will also be taught about STIs and STDs in the RSE. Guidance mentions how grooming, sexual exploitation, domestic abuse, coercive, and controlling behavior should also be addressed. The pupils will also be taught about FGM, which is your female genital mutilation, and the negative effects that this can have on them. It will talk about online behavior, how they need to be careful when they have online relationships, how people can pretend to be what they are not, and how they need to be careful with the information passed online. These are some of the things that they need to be taught, or that the government feels that they need to be taught in the secondary schools. By the end of secondary school, they expect pupils to know what relationships are, the characteristics of healthy relationships, online relationships, how this is very important to their mental and emotional well-being, how they can relate to one another, what they should do in relationships and what is not acceptable, what is appropriate and what is not, what is safe and what is not. So it talks about friendships in general, what stereotypes are, the negative effects that this can have, how some behaviors in relationships can be criminal, how they need to be careful when relating with friends, how they need to respect others and also demand respect, how some things can constitute to sexual harassment, how this can be reported and how they can be safe and keep safe. End of secondary school, they also expect that the pupils should know what a healthy friendship is, how important this is to the emotional and mental well-being of people, what constitutes to sexual harassment and how to report this, the different types of bullying and how not to be a bully, as well as how to report bullying. It also talks about how some behaviors in friendships can be criminal and how they can report this, respecting themselves as well as respecting others in the relationship as well. So they should know the laws governing sexual harassment, sexual exploitation, FGM, abortion, and all that. They will be taught all this in the secondary school. So basically, they expect that by the end of secondary school, they will have all the information that they need to be able to develop into emotionally stable and reasonable adults. That is what the guidance says. That is the aim of the guidance. So that is the summary of what it states for secondary school. Remember that in primary school, the sexual part is not being enforced, so the sex education is not compulsory, but in the secondary school it is. Except in exceptional cases, you cannot withdraw your child from this education. This is compulsory for all students in the United Kingdom. Okay, if you have any questions, of course you can have conversations with the school or the teacher, and you guys can talk about maybe your kid or what your worries are and have an understanding and all that. But just know that this is a mandatory requirement by the government, that this will be taught in all secondary schools and primary schools in the UK. But like I said, in the primary school, only the health and the relationship education is mandatory. The sex part is not, whereas in the secondary school it is. So guys, that's the important or the main part of the guidance that I've listed for you here. You can feel free to check the guidance yourself. It's on the gov.uk website, so you're free to go through it so that you can have all the information that it states there. Now, I'm going to be discussing something in the next video, which is like critically saying my own views on some of the things that are mentioned in this guidance that are not so clear. So if that is something you're interested in, please click on the post notification now so that you don't miss that video when it comes. There are things that are happening because of some of the things that are in this guidance. Some schools don't take some things very seriously, and that's where you now see stuff like funny materials being introduced to these schools. That is what I'll be talking about, some of those lines that you need to pay attention to when you're thinking about the RSE and how it can affect your kid. Thank you guys for watching till now. If you stayed till now, thank you. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends and loved ones who have kids, especially the ones that have kids in secondary school in the UK, as this will be helpful to them. They want to have this idea so that they even know what their kid will be taught in secondary school, so that when your kid comes home and is asking you some kind of questions, you know how to answer this kind of questions and you know where these questions are coming from. Okay, thank you guys once again for staying till now. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye guys.